Hello everyone, 76 Patriot here, and today the New York Post released a really interesting article of just kind of something I wanted to break down in today's video. So without further ado, this is the article, Why Democrats Are Not Enthusiastic About Biden's Re-election. And I found this particularly interesting because it really highlights some of the concerns and fears that Democrats have, and also the lack of enthusiasm surrounding Biden in general. And I found this, Democrats are not enthusiastic about the possibility of Biden's reelection. And this is fascinating how they say they're enthusiastic, this um, liberal strategist or whatever he is said Democrats are enthusiastic about winning the Senate and the House. And, but they're not enthusiastic about Biden's reelection, period. That is not a good sign for Democrats. And obviously, a lot of this is due to polling. And we understand polls aren't everything, of course. But if you're, in the Democratic or liberal camp right now of American politics, this is not something to be excited about. And a lot of this is due to the fact that he is really acting, you know, I would say far beyond, even worse than his age. I know 81-year-olds personally that, are in much better shape. And this is sad to see, but it absolutely is undeniable. I mean, whether it's the G7 and, the Italian prime minister had to practically walk him back to reality, or if it's this, thing in Hollywood with Obama and a bunch of washed up celebrities. And Obama literally had to, walk him practically back to life, it seemed like, off the stage. And it's just sad. And this is a reason why people are not super enthusiastic. This is not the Obama years where people would literally crawl over broken glass and young voters are so pumped up to come out in droves for Obama. And again, this is worrying if you're a Democrat. There he is trying to, who knows what with the Pope. And this is, even Democratic strategists and these people are admitting this. There's a disconnect between the successes we're having in these special elections and the environments near the top of the ticket. And this is true. Democrats always say, oh, the special elections, we won it big, therefore we're going to have a blowout in November. Not the case at all. And this is quite possibly why a lot of Senate candidates are polling, right here local, why we're doing as well as we are in local and state elections. They have this tight polling. Maybe this is why a lot of Democrat Senate nominees and incumbents are polling much better than Biden in a lot of these swing states. Still, at the end of the day, I think it'll flatten out a bit. Tester in Montana and Brown in Ohio, these incumbent senators, they'll still go down, in my opinion, at the end of the day. But this does show you people are not enthusiastic about Biden, and it's understandable. I mean, he is the one that had said he was going to be kind of the gateway. I forget the exact verbiage he used, but basically like a candidate that would transition into the next kind of generation of Democratic presidential candidates. And young voters are not enthusiastic, quite frankly, because he's somebody that is older than possibly their grandparents. And it's just not, particularly also the messaging. And I don't know if this article mentions it, but a lot of the messaging, particularly with, the Israel-Palestine war, he's really split both the more establishment kind of liberals and especially liberals who are Jews, as well as progressives. And again, if you're a liberal, that's something to be concerned about heading into one of the biggest election years of recent memory. We got a rematch of 2020, and this is all these polls. Sure, that we don't put our stock in them, but that has to be concerning. And this is quite fascinating, honestly. If you go, this is articles about 3 weeks old, I believe. Yeah, published at the end of May. But Dems in full-blown freakout over Biden. And this is pretty fascinating. It says, pervasive sense of fear is settled at the highest levels of the Democratic Party about his re-election. And I guess, you look at the economy, you look at the border, it's like issue after issue. People, whether it's the people that deal with the press or whoever, the news media, they can cover for him. Biden can say whatever he wants. But at the end of the day, these issues matter to the everyday American, no matter how you might try to cover it up or make it seem like it doesn't matter. And this is quite fascinating. This is a very liberal, of course, advisor to major Democrat donors. And he says the list of why we could win is so small, I don't even need to keep the list on my phone. And this is quite hilarious to look at. Everybody's saying, oh, all the Democrats, oh, Trump is so unelectable, particularly after the sham trial. And yet their guy is barely polling, the worst as far as approval rating since Carter. He's in the mid 30s, and believe actually a couple days ago was like his worst day of approval rating in like ever since he took office or something like that. And this is just crazy. It's basically the end of these articles, but still, it's crazy to see. And this fact is confirmed, this kind of lack of support and enthusiasm for Biden in some of these primaries. And of course, we don't use primaries. We have to be careful when using them to predict the general. But these are uncontested, basically. I mean, there's a few candidates here and there, but Jason Palmer, I'm not even sure, he might have dropped out of the race by the time this West Virginia primary already took place. I'm not sure. But regardless, Biden is barely grabbing some of these counties by 45%. I mean, this is absolutely abysmal and horrible for an incumbent president. 70% in nobody got over 10% in an practically uncontested election with no serious opposition. Same thing Hawaii. That was even worse. He got 66% in the uncommitted vote. So those are basically people who, they're Democrats, they want to vote for a Democrat, they're just, kind of sticking it to Biden and saying, I will not, cast my ballot for you specifically. Minnesota, this could possibly be due to Arab or Muslim voters who are kind of ticked off at Biden for his handling of the whole Israel-Palestine conflict. However, these numbers are not good. I mean, particularly in the Twin Cities. Gosh, and so this is good news for us. Again, we don't want to be complacent because a lot of these voters will probably come home at the end of the day. If they're forced kind of gun to their head situation, Biden v. Trump, and they're gonna go with Biden obviously at the end of the day, most of them. But it's still not a good sign when a good chunk of your base is not on board with you, and there's practically no contestation here. I think Phillips had even dropped. I'm not sure if he had dropped out by this time, but regardless. And you can see, every single swing state was decided by less than 3 points of the major swing states that Biden won. I should clarify. Michigan was the most, of course, just under 3. Georgia was the least by the margin of victory. And, there's not much room for error here, particularly with how bad Biden is at polling. He's barely led a poll in some of these states, particularly Georgia and Arizona, I believe, in literally a year or maybe two years, something crazy like that. So if I was a Democrat, I would be absolutely in like panic mode right now. And, we cannot go around thinking as Republicans and as, conservatives, oh, we got this in the bag, No, we don't. There's still a lot of things that could happen. But overall, I think this is a great thing to see. And Biden's support has absolutely been collapsing. And, it's a great thing to see. And hopefully Trump's support only keeps increasing. We'll see what happens with the debate, if he's able to win over even more independents. But that's basically it for this video, guys. I just wanted to quickly cover this. Thought it was kind of important and newsworthy. So hope this was of some interest and entertainment as well as being educational. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great day.